Good evening everyone, Ads here from Unity Trading Group. Welcome to your Wednesday night update. Before we begin this evening, hit the like button, tap the subscribe button and hit the bell to stay updated on all of our new content that's coming out soon. Of course, we aim to stream 5 nights a week. That's Melbourne time for everyone that's watching. But let's get stuck into it. BTC, it's been a little bit of a ride so far. We've had a falling wedge, we've got a rising wedge, and we've broken out of this falling wedge formation now, so I am going to... I'll probably can it for now. It's a bit steep for my liking anyways. But this rising wedge formation did play out in the sense that we were guessing. And of course, what we said last night in the sense of our level of demand being broken has come to fruition as well. So let's explore that a little bit further. Last night we discussed the eventuality of this level being broken, or it has been broken. And we were discussing the possibility of that happening or just a small bounce to the 38 and then this. So that were the two options, or the two scenarios that we were really discussing during our update for yesterday. The first option did happen. We did fall straight through this level after clearing it out and pushing through it, excuse me. So we are currently sitting at this level here, and I'm going to nip it up just a touch to really give us a little bit of a better zone to deal with. There we go. So yes, now as you can see on the chart on the 4-hour time frame, we are sitting very nicely at a level of demand that is on a small pivot point. So the previous level was around here, okay? And that is not on a market pivot point. It is basically a pause in the market, and we did get a retest to the right-hand side of that to confirm that zone exists. In this instance now, we do have a pivot point. It is very small, I will admit, but it is a pivot point nonetheless, and it is of higher quality than the one that was up the top, which was lower. So we are sitting on a higher quality level of demand currently. That is the first time it is being tested. So the real thing now, or the real question for you all, is where are we going to go? And is this going to be the bottom, inverted commas? You could probably imagine me using inverted commas, the air commas there. But swing high to low, and of course we always draw Fibonacci retracements from left to right, and we can see immediately that the Fibonacci levels line up very nicely, especially the negative, or the 61.8, excuse me, and the 38.2. So a couple of things are going to happen now, in my opinion. We are quite oversold in the sense of RSI, in the sense of steamroller. And if we put Gravy Train on there, we could probably see how it coincides with our level of fibs. And you can see immediately that our 61 lines up with the previous cloud support. And of course, the 50 lining up with the cloud resistance at the moment. So this is Gravy Train, of course, our in-house built indicator. We do have links down below to find out more about Gravy Train. But it is lining up very nicely currently. So if I had to say what would my opinion on the market or the next movements would be, it would be simply to retest some of these zones that we see above us, or some of these levels of fibs that we see above us. And the reason why I say the 38 is as follows. If I just go to Gravy Train for the minute, let's see what we've got. So if I'm drawing in just a horizontal line on the 38.2, and I'll make it a little bit bigger, and I'll make it white. So you can see that immediately to the left of our current price, we do have some retests of that zone, or of that level. We've got just shy of a retest to the left. And if I scroll to the left-hand side, you can also see a very extensive support resistance flip scenario happening around the 38.2. So there is a fair amount of liquidity sitting around the 38.2 currently. So it is more than likely, or I shouldn't say that, it is my opinion that we will possibly retrace back up to the 38.2 at 46,500. for a retest of that level. Now, yesterday we spoke of the possibility for BTC to create a lower high, and that could certainly still be the case in the sense of, I'll get rid of this for now, in the sense of this. So we've had this scenario happen. If we are to see a lower high, we would see more than likely a retest of that level at 60K. 60K is a nice round number. It is psychological resistance in my opinion there. So if we do see a lower high, more than likely it'll occur at that 60,000 mark. And that would be pretty dire in my opinion for BTC. But we'll get to that later if it does happen that way. But for the most part, 38.2 at 46,500 would be the area that I'd be looking towards for a relief for this market. But what happens if we keep falling? So if we keep falling from here, there is a few levels that I want to point out, especially on the 4-hour time frame. Let's have a look. The first one being around about here. We can extend it to the whole candle, that's fine. This level resides at 30K, and this is the most influential pivot on the market that I can see at the moment in this sort of span of liquidity that we're seeing in this region here. So the 30K mark is very important in my opinion, and that is a very high quality level of demand, and it would be very difficult for price to break through it in my opinion. Next level would be in between, and it is very hard or pretty difficult to spot. I shouldn't say very hard, but it is pretty difficult to spot, and it would be around about here. And I'm looking left a little bit to guide me on this one because very, very simply, we are observing liquidity around this point. You can see immediately to the left, if I'm drawing two horizontal lines, you can see immediately to the left how they are both respected in the sense of liquidity in this region. So that would be the area that I'm looking for. And of course, if you look on a lower time frame, if we're scrolling into the 1 hour, for example, you will more than likely observe that you'll see a pivot around this area. And of course, we are getting that sort of formation happening, and you could even call it a W pattern before moving to the upside. So, of course, take that with a grain of salt. However, the liquidity around these two areas is very apparent. That's if, and a big if, we continue to fall from here. I do believe, or it is in my opinion, that we will get a bounce from this point and test the 38.2 at 46,500, at least for relief. Even as far as testing the 23.6, liquidity to the left-hand side here is the first in line for BTC to test. Moving on, I won't talk too much. There is a lot of red happening in this market, but ETH is not faring as well, or is faring, excuse me, in the same fashion as BTC, in the sense of we did have a head and shoulders that we spoke about yesterday. And of course, we did draw in the most relevant level of supply for a retest at the 23.6, but we have now fallen down to the overall Fibonacci retracement level of the 61.8, coinciding very nicely with a level of demand that we drew in a couple of days ago as well. If we are to see this market continue in particular, I'd be looking towards the 78.6 at 2441, or of course, that coincides nicely with a very, very low quality level of demand, and that is formed on a very loose set of consolidating candles on the left hand side there. But it does seem like we will move through the 61.8. However, I'm not calling this too early. We will revisit this tomorrow morning, or even in the Discord. If you're not part of that, please join the conversation down below in the link. Next one I have a look at tonight is XRP USD. Of course, if you had any suggestions on what we should look at on a nightly basis, you can tag me. So that's @ads in the Discord, and you can ask for me to look at any trading pairs that you would like on a nightly update. That is an option. So if you do think of anything that you want looked at in the future, please tag me in the Discord, in the general, or even in the community charts, and ask away. But in the sense of XRP, not faring as bad as the rest of the market. As you can see on the right hand side, we are 10% down, but it is not as much as we have seen in the sense of like ETH, and of course BNB. ADA is faring worse, but they have risen a lot more. So we are holding our ground for XRP at the 50 fibs at 144. And of course, if we are to move downwards from here, in my opinion, I think the 38.2 is the most likely scenario for XRP in the immediate term. And I think that would coincide very well at $1.30. Last and certainly not least, the DXY for this evening. Of course, this is a regulated market, not financial advice at all, just ideas and opinions of us here at UTG. But 89.91 is the area that we spoke about last night. We did slip towards that level and through that level as of now, to be honest. And if we are to follow any sort of oversold condition currently, I'd be looking towards the upper level. So let's draw in our current level of Fibonacci and find out where we're at. So swing high to low. Let's take this on a smaller scale. We would, in my opinion, be looking at the 38.2, the 50 and the 61. But as we all know, 38.2 is the most likely scenario for a retracement before we get a continuation, and that would be towards 89.149. And we are paying attention to the 50 RSI. If you're not using our RSI, UTG RSI, you can search it in the indicators. It is free to use on TradingView. Take that and put it into your arsenal. But thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you to all the new people that have subscribed to the channel. Thank you to all the new people that have joined the Discord. Join the conversation if you haven't already. I'm Ads from UTG. I'll see you tomorrow.